Breaking news. Did Qubic successfully perform a 51% attack on Monero? I'm not sure, but they're claiming they did at least get 51% of the block. So here we have at 5:43 p.m. I was away, just got home right now and seeing all this. It is now 7:55 p.m. In the period here of 3,475,729 to 3,475,850, a window of 122 blocks, we have mined 63 of the blocks, thus surpassing the KPI we put for ourselves, 51% of the blocks. Congrats, miner notifications for the full reward. So all the miners will be getting paid for all of these Monero blocks that we're mining Qubic. So you're going to get all that Qubic. You're also going to be getting all that Qubic's worth of Monero as well. So this info will be verified probably by Shy from Kaspa, who hates us a lot, to be fair. To be a fair referee. So I guess Shy from Kaspa is going to be doing that. That's kind of funny. But anyway, someone in Qubic team should write a scientific report about this event and put on AAAWAVE for future reference. Update, longer window, more precise. If anyone wants the data, ping me in DM. So I guess I'm going to ping him and then see what he does say or show for the data. So just kind of going through their Discord before this, it says, we stole, I'm just going to click on this. We stole the blocks from Monero pools, but mining pool stats didn't get it right when we stole it, so it shows a wrong graph. So they're claiming that mining pool stats is wrong on the graph and everything here. So that is going to, obviously it's going to make everyone saying he said, she said type of information here. A lot of people do claim that the websites they claim where they do have, all this hash rate and stuff. This one right here, I believe, is false numbers compared to something like mining pool stats. Depending where you get your information, it's going to be different. I'm just reading through a bunch of stuff here. Take it any way you want and then decide what actually happened for yourself. So anyway, they took a bunch of pools. Mining pool stats didn't, declare it correctly here. Thanks. Why are we letting them do that? So I'm just going to click on here. Orphans stole from other pools. So, okay, why are mining pool stats in disagreement? Orphans stole from other pools. Got that. Red blocks are Qubic blocks. So it looks like they're mining a bunch of orphan blocks or something, which is where a lot of these blocks are coming from by the sounds of things. Let's just see. Where are you seeing this 2430? Where are you seeing this 2430? So here, mining pool stats, I guess, is showing, these blocks here at the time. And then here they're showing whatever all these are. Now, you can't really read it very well here. And I'm not sure where the information from this is coming from, but this is what they're dictating. It sounds like, again, they are mining orphan blocks. And to kind of confirm that they are mining this is they're talking about this in the Monero Reddit. So coming into the Monero Reddit here, we can see reject empty blocks as temporal solution of network attack. Hello, everyone. Regarding Qubic is slowing down the transactions by mining empty blocks, even if they are not reaching 51% hash rate. So they're claiming, so Monero here is saying, they're not getting the full 51% hash rate like they need to do a full attack, but they are doing something to mine these blocks to get over 51% of the actual blocks mined. So crazy stuff going on here. I don't 100% understand what's going on. So I guess there's two kind of things. They're not officially 51% hash rate attacking the network, but they are getting over half the blocks as an orphan attack or something. I don't know what's going on. Let me know in the comment sections. Make this, smarter for all of us out here. They are damaging the network here, they're saying. So is it technically possible to reject empty blocks in order to avoid their attack? I think this could be a good temporary solution here. Best regards. Agreed, nodes should order candidate chains heads by the number of taxes in that chain, not number of blocks. A candidate chain head with 20 plus taxes in 1 or 2 blocks is a better head to build on that chain ahead of 7 blocks with less than 1 tax. And then you can talk about it in this kind of thing here. And there's a whole bunch of stuff going on in here. Now, here's another one here where someone is saying they are renting 1 mega hash to try and slow down Qubic. Now, here we have someone helping the Monero network coming to the defense. They are renting hash rate to help Monero. But now you got someone here, which, there's probably others out there as well renting hash rate. But I do have screenshots of other people renting 50 mega hash. And I said that right here. Sad thing, you rent 1 mega hash to help XMR and others rent 50 mega hash to get paydays on Qubic. And I have a screenshot of someone renting 50 mega hash throwing it on Qubic, and then collecting big paydays because Qubic is paying so much. This is where, emissions and profit-driven miners are moving to Qubic because they want paydays. People are sick of never having a payday. We know Monero has peaked. Monero is going to be going down, and it's not going to peak again for another 4 years. So now we have all the profit coming out of Qubic, and miners are flocking to it to do this attack, which long term could hurt everybody on CPUs because Monero is, a huge CPU coin. But anyway, the point is the profits are there and miners are moving to the profit side, and that is currently where Qubic is. But yeah, people are renting hash rate and it's insane. And here's another one here where someone is mentioning on their solution to this. So this guy might not know mining very well, but you can pause it and read this for yourself and stuff here. And I'll zoom in a little bit so you can see everything better. But to sum it up, this guy is saying, okay, everyone in the world has CPUs. That means anyone in the world can help with the attack, or they can help mine CPU, whatever. And then all of a sudden he goes into comparing this with Bitcoin. Rule number one of any cryptocurrency, I don't care who you are, what it is, you do not compare yourself to Bitcoin. That just doesn't happen. So this guy thinks, maybe he's a good guy. I don't know who he is. Like maybe he's a super smart guy and, he's done things and stuff. I have no idea who this username actually is. It's micro, you can see it right there. I could be wrong. He's been here since, January 2024, so not super long. But anyway, point here is he's going into this saying Bitcoin mining uses SHA-256, it's enabled ASIC mining, blah, blah, blah. And he's saying no one's going to attack it because, they're $20,000 worth of ASIC rigs. No one's going to, move this. Obviously, and he's declaring that only these ASICs can mine Bitcoin. That's not the case. There's tons of other tons of other coins on the SHA-256 algorithm where Bitcoin miners can mine. They're not there for Bitcoin, but the majority of them obviously are. Now he thinks that Monero should move to ASICs. So here we have, obviously this guy must not know anything about Kaspa. He must not know anything about Lithium or any of these other coins that did move to ASICs, and see that that's probably one of the dumbest things you could do. And then here I kind of put ASICs would wreck Monero more than any attack would. So that's just my apply to him that I put a minute ago here. But here's one guy's incentive. Like, people are talking about this thing with Qubic. People are wondering what's going on, and they're coming up with things. Obviously, one of them here is move Monero to ASICs. Now, obviously, that is not a good idea. People would give up. People would quit Monero that's been in Monero for so long because of ASICs. That ASICs goes against anything to do with the fundamental decentralized miner. Anyway, I thought I'd point this out too. But, Monero is all over the place in terms of this Qubic thing and everything that's going on. From what I'm seeing here is I don't see an official full attack on Monero yet, but they are getting close. Here's 38% of the blocks found. They still have not hit that 51% plus hash rate. So in my mind, I still think Qubic potentially is failing the attack. They're not getting there yet, and they're running out of time because they do have a halving. The community, I guess, did vote on having that. And I talked about this in a live stream where Qubic is essentially having their attack power. We played around as the game, AP attack power. They're going to be cutting their money supply in half. And then, within probably there's only like 10 days left. So if Qubic does not do this attack successfully with full 51% network hash rate in the next 10 days or so, they're going to lose half their money to do so. And then obviously I don't think they're going to be able to do it after that point because there won't be enough money for them to actually do it. So I think halvings are bad. A lot of coins think it's a good thing, deflationary, put in these halving events and, price could go up and all this stuff. But, I think halvings long term, you lose miners because now you can't pay as many miners and all sorts of stuff. And in this case, Qubic will be losing 50% of its attack power, AP power, because they're losing 50% of their money to pay the miners once that halving does take place. So, that's another one of my opinions here is, if it doesn't happen by that halving, it's going to be pretty tough for them to do so. And I really think at that point, Monero only has 10 days left. If they can keep the walls up for another 10 days, Monero should be pretty safe. So after recording all that, I am still waiting on the data from DCAT here to see what he says. But again, as I just all mentioned here, I don't think we have a full attack yet. It hasn't happened. They have not hit the 51% attack ratio of this yet, but they have been mining, you know, over half the blocks due to the fact that they're mining these uncle blocks or whatever's going on at the node level or something. I don't really know. Someone smarter, let me know down in the comment section, but I am still waiting before I wrap this video up of what DCAT may have for us for some information. All right, guys, so it is the following morning. I'm going to finish up my video here, but I have not heard back from DCAT. So I don't know what all the information we have on the Qubic side. So we're going to leave that at that. I do want to come into the Monero Reddit again. And this was 15 minutes ago. 51% is not inevitable, but does warrant protective measures. So here they're kind of saying it sounds like the Monero community is still saying they weren't 100% attacked, but there was some reorg. So I don't know if Qubic was reorging the chain and all the normal mining pools were just getting the orphans because Qubic was implementing you know, their own type of side chains and stuff, whatever was going on there, or if Qubic was mining all of those orphans and slowing down the network and all this other stuff. Anyway, so that's where it's at right now. You know, they may have been attacked, they may not have been attacked. I don't know if they fully hit enough hash rate to do so, but there's a lot of other things coming on here. So coming from beyond here on his Twitter, he says now, it looks like 1 hour ago, that Qubic is now under a DDoS attack again. Here they're showing kind of the percentages here. So it looks like the network hash rate 5.34 and 2.8 of that was Qubic. That is 52.36%. Now, the one thing I'm still up in the air about is Monero is always around, you know, 4.8 to 5.3, 5.5, 5.2. Every time I look at the Monero hash rate, it's always at that for the past couple weeks. So in theory, in my mind, and I could be wrong, and maybe this is right, but if you add 2.8 gigahash onto the 5.3, you're now sitting around, you know, 7, 8 gigahash. So in theory, you're now going to need around 4 gigahash in order to get over that 50% mark, the 51, 52% mark or so. So I still don't know 100% on what's going on, but, you know, it looks like things are beginning, or they're attacking, maybe not with completely enough hash power, but they are doing things that's causing issues here, obviously on Monero. And the other major thing here is we want to sell mined XMR. If the exchanges enable deposits, that would be great. And just like with every other attack with ETC and other coins that have gone through attacks, exchanges start halting deposits and stuff. So let's click on here, see what some people are saying. And here they're saying the best option to dump is KuCoin, MEXC, CoinX, HTX, you know, stuff with good liquidity. And people are saying you're doing peak trolling here. Be careful there. Don't realize in real life threats. So by this, I'm saying, you know, exchanges are good. You know, you're lying. Why can't you sell it? So I actually went into MEXC to see, you know, are they allowing deposits? And they're not. They are halted. Deposits are suspended on MEXC. So it is in fact looking like exchanges are halting these. Now, I don't know. I don't really have accounts for all the other ones, but these are the other exchanges that are available for Monero. There is a decent amount of 24-hour volume. I just don't know if they're all falling. So volume can still be there. If coins are already, you know, sitting on exchanges, you can still trade and stuff, but it does look like deposits are halted to go into at least MEXC. Now, I don't have accounts and stuff with the other ones, and some of them you can't use in Canada and things like that. So, you know, if you guys are using any of these other exchanges, let me know down in the comments section if, you know, they are halted. I'm going to check Kraken right quick. So on Kraken in my app, it does allow me to send Monero. It is saying expect delays because the Monero network will be affected, both deposits and withdrawals. So there's issues going on, but it's still saying that you can deposit. So it does look like Kraken should be working based on my app, but I could be 100% wrong. So just bear with me. You know, right now I would technically wouldn't send any coins anywhere till we know that everything is fully resolved. But yeah, crazy stuff is on the verge. It does sound like Qubic has attacked Monero. Now, you know, to the extent that we all think it may have been with a full 51%, I am not sure. But then again, I could be wrong and I have no idea. But Monero is 100% under attack, guys. So let me know your thoughts and opinions on the situation with Qubic. I'll see you on the next one. Rabid out.